Gravity, good. What? Good. There's one more.
Friction.
Friction. Friction is going to be going against, in the opposite direction of the applied force. Okay, so there's all my forces. And so we're going to need to calculate the components of the applied force. So we'll need to find the Fx of that and the Fy. So like we did the last one, so the Fx is going to equal 62 times the cosine of 30. And the Fy is going to equal 62 times the sine of 30. And what will that give us? 54, or 53.693. Okay. And ultimately, we're going to need to get the net force. So to figure out all these other forces, we can calculate the force of gravity based on what you said, Marnay. And that is that the mass is 12. And so the force of gravity, we know is mass times the acceleration of gravity, so that will be 12 times 9.8. Which is
117.6.
good. Okay, and I don't have a lot of room here, but you might want to label these on your diagram just so you can see. So the y is 31, 54. Okay, and then we can determine the normal force based on the fact that we know that the vertical and horizontal forces are going to be balanced because the box is pushed across the table. And so the normal force plus the Fy component is going to equal the gravity, or in other words, using the equation, the normal force will equal the gravity minus the Fy component. But basically we just know that they're balanced. So you don't really have to like memorize this equation or know it. It will just make sense if you know that the vertical forces are balanced. But it's going to give you the 117.6 minus 31. And so the normal force is what? 86.6 newtons. Okay, and then we can calculate the friction force because they did give us the coefficient of friction. So the friction force is going to be mu times the normal force. And so that was 0.45 times 86.6. And that will be about okay, good. So I'll just say 38.97, good. And then we can calculate the net force, which is what we need to find the acceleration. So we know that the vertical forces are balanced. We made it so that they would balance on purpose. So to calculate the net force, we really just need to look at the right and the leftward forces. So we have the 53.693 number, but we said about 54 newtons to the right, And then we'll say the left is maybe negative, so minus like the 39 newtons to the left. And I'm hoping that I wasn't very clear on this, but I'm hoping that you're being a little bit more exact on your calculator. That's about 15, but hopefully your calculation is a little bit more precise. And then you can use that last formula to calculate the acceleration. Why don't you guys just do the front side of this, and then we will discuss on